Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Let's do it.
All right. Welcome to the Greycious Podcast with
The Greycious Podcast.
Devon
And Jaelyn.
And we are going to talk about family dynamics today.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about kind of
Sibling
dynamics, a little bit of like just a tad bit of a background about us, because last video we didn't mention who we are, where we're from. You could be my sister for all they know.
Exactly.
So you are not my sister. This is my wife. I am her husband. Which is fun to say. It's it's a lot better than saying fiance and...
Fiance just sounds like so much. It's just like...
You're trying hard.
Either say boyfriend or say husband.
Yeah.
Like,
I used to hate saying like, oh, this is my fiance. It's like, we get it. You're engaged. I hated saying fiance.
Yeah.
But saying wife is fun.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So we usually start off the segments with our good gracious. And so our good gracious this week you want to do the drinks first? Sorry.
All right. So today we have Stella Rosa Black. We're just in a grown and sexy vibe. I'm in my Olivia Pope era. I'm drinking from a nice big glass. Feel free to join us. It'll be a great experience. Yeah. And it has to be a very large glass.
Yeah. We love a good wine, though. I don't really drink red wine often. I think we like... Is it white wine?
Moscato.
Yeah. We love sweet wine, but this Stella Rosa Black...
She gonna do it every single time.
Every time. So, let's take a little taste before we get started. Girl, too good. I probably hold this so weird. People are probably like, how you hold it? I feel like I should hold it like this.
That's how I hold it.
Okay. So, yeah. That's not how I was holding it, though.
Yeah, you were like this. Like a barbarian. Yeah.
Yep. Sigh. All right. So, for the Good Gracious this week, we have just some updates, I guess, to share about us, because Good Gracious is just going to be good news, good things happening, because when you turn on the news or go on wherever you go to get your recent news, you see so many like bad things, make you sad, depressed. So every podcast we want to just share good news. But for this podcast, the good news is that we're doing good.
Yeah.
We've moved to Wisconsin. We're from Texas. And we moved for my job, relocated us right after we graduated from college. We graduated college in May, got married in July.
Moved to San Antonio in May.
Right. We graduated in May, moved to San Antonio in May, stayed in San Antonio we got married in July, and then we moved to Wisconsin in August.
November?
Yeah. In November. Yeah, we've only been here for like 2 months. That's crazy. I feel like we've been here for so long.
We've lived many lives since we've been here.
Yeah, so it's been a crazy journey, but luckily my company made it super easy for us to move. Yeah. That was really nice, and it's been great. I love it here. It's currently snowing outside. Everything's covered in white snow, and that's been great. Yeah. Everybody's been warning us about the winters and stuff here, which we haven't hit yet. We haven't hit the extremes yet.
This is a very mild winter, apparently.
And this is way more than I've ever seen consistently. Yeah. So it's an adjustment, but I love it. I love the cold. I love being able to be in our sweaters and lay under blankets, open up the windows, have the air just off until we need the heat. But because currently we have the heat on. But yeah, it's been a cool little vibe. Everybody's so nice here. All my coworkers and stuff have been great, showing me around and giving me recommendations for things.
It's been a good time.
Love you guys. And how have you been since we moved to Wisconsin?
I've been pretty good. I got a job, so that's been going well. So now I'm just waiting to start up with school and all that, which I'm planning on doing that around August to go back and get my second bachelor's in nursing. And so,
Because your degree now is in kinesiology.
Yes, my degree now is in kinesiology. So I basically have all the prereqs.
Prereq.
Whoa.
All the prereqs.
I basically have all the prereqs that I need for to get into the nursing program. So I'll be able to do an accelerated program that's only a year, so I can get in and out and start with my career.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And I'm a graphic design major.
Yeah.
Or graduate degree. I'm a graphic design graduate.
You have a bachelor with that.
I have a bachelor's in graphic design and advertisement.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a little bit of what we went to college for. Mm-hmm. But it's been cool. It's been cool. Being married's been fun. All that good stuff. Taking care of ourselves. It's been crazy. Of course, we still have the support of our parents and stuff a little bit, but
for the most part, we out here.
It's us. Yeah. Financially, it's pretty much us. But we got it though. Okay. All right. So, you want to dive in?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about, as I mentioned, family dynamics and just all of that stuff.
That's why I said, grab your red wine. It's about to be good.
It's about to be good. So we found some stories on Reddit. Basically, they're called like, "Am I the butthole?" Fill in the word.
Yeah.
We're not gonna like be too explicit on here, but for now. But yeah, so it's basically like, am I the butthole? Or I don't want to say that. I don't even think that sounds good either. Am I the problem? Am I the problem?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Am I the problem? So we found a couple stories that we're each going to read. We haven't seen each other's stories that we picked out yet, so it'll be pretty fun and just kind of give our feedback and how we can relate or not relate or just our thoughts in general on these stories. Mm-hmm. So let's dive in. Am I the problem for stopping my mother-in-law from holding my child? That's juicy, ain't it?
It's going to be a good one. I'm excited.
That's juicy. All right, so myself, 29 female, and my husband, 31 male, have been together for 14 years and a year married with a cute little boy, 11 months old. We are in the middle of building our own family home, so have moved back in with my in-laws. This is where you guys come in on whether I am the problem or not. So we moved in with my in-laws when my son was 10 weeks old. We were visiting them when my son was 2 weeks old. My mother-in-law was holding my son, who then started crying. Four times I asked her. It's like this person is kind of illiterate. So if I stumble, I promise I can read, but there's some typos. 4 times I asked her for my son back. She ignored me. This is my first child after all. My husband got up and went to take him off of her. She pulled away. My son is still crying, and all she kept saying was, "It's cramps." That's weird.
Excuse me?
My father-in-law told her to give him back to me. She said no. I calmed him. She then put my son down to change him. I got up and took him back, and he stopped crying. Over the next few months, she made it a huge deal that my son should be sleeping through the night at 6 weeks old because her son did, who is my husband, and that is my fault he's not sleeping through the night. She then proceeds to tell me what I can and can't dress my child in, and also what he should and shouldn't be eating. I've stopped her from picking him up. She is not allowed to pick him up, and if she does, he's taken off of her. She went on to her husband and started giving out crap about me because of what I said, and he's on my side, which pissed her off even more. She would say, "Come to mama," about herself. I had to tell my son, "No, that's your nanny and I'm your mommy." Oh, and to top it all off, she wore white on my wedding day. Someone sounds like a hater.
Someone sounds like she likes to be the center of attention and needs to be put in her place. I'm just
So, I mean, just right off the bat, I definitely say this person is not the problem.
The person is not the problem. If anyone's the problem, it's her son for putting up with that crap for so long.
Her son?
Like, she didn't just all of a sudden start being like that when they had a kid. There were other things that happened.
She was trying to be controlling
before then, where she was able to control some aspect of his life, and he allowed it. Yeah. And as a 31-year-old man, that's a no.
Yeah. Because, yeah, you're right. Like, it didn't just all of a sudden you want to start thinking your word is gold and you can do whatever you want to my kid. She had been doing stuff.
Something.
To where he felt like her word is what goes.
Yeah.
So what stood out to me first off the bat was, and this is kind of like trying to play like a little bit of devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. She says, moved back in with my in-laws, but it's just because they're waiting. We're in the middle of building our own family home. So they're going to stay with their parents until the family home is built.
That is a hard one for sure. Because, like, obviously, if your family home is being built, okay. But I personally would rather just be in my own apartment, like, until then, or something like that. Because, again, this is not the first time that this lady has shown this type of behavior
that we know of.
That we're assuming. Because, But, yeah, it's not the first time she showed this type of behavior. So, to me, bringing my newborn child to her house would already be like a no. Because you don't know boundaries. You're going to automatically think that this baby is yours, and it's not. That's weird. So, no, you're their grandma, and that's about it.
Yeah. And that it means a lot to be a kid's grandma. And if you come pick up, and I guess it's different because they moved in together, but if you come pick up my kid as a grandma, like if my mom or dad or whatever wanted to come pick up our kid and picks them up, puts them in an outfit that they have at their house, only wants to feed them this type of stuff at their house, okay. I feel like, right? Like, they can wear what outfits you buy them when they're with you.
Yeah, but like food wise,
I mean, obviously, if you say no, like they can't have this, then don't give them that. But I'm saying, like, it says that she was controlling. She was trying to tell her what food the kid can and can't eat. You're not going to tell me what I can feed and can't feed my kid. But also, I'm saying with you, like, if you don't believe in giving, I don't know though, actually, because food is like a big. Yeah. If I say they need to eat this, this, and that, then
that's what they need to eat. And like, you had a kid 31 years ago.
That's true. But I know my grandma used to let us have like candy salads. And,
but not as a 2-month-old. Whatever the parent says,
that is very young.
That needs to be what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do agree with that. But what I was basically trying to say was, you're not gonna like dictate the kid, especially while they're with me. Like, you can have your own rules for your house. Like, I know my grandparents didn't make me say like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. They taught me to say that to other people to be respectful. But to them, they said, I don't want to feel old, so don't call me that. Like, just yes and no, stuff like that. And so, but if I was with, and my mom just didn't make me, but my mom could have been like, no, you need to say that to everybody.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Sorry. So, anyway, yeah, I think there are things that can be differentiated. Like, there's things that your grandma's going to allow you to do that your parents won't allow you to do. There's probably things your grandma won't allow you to do that your parents will allow you to do. But those need to be communicated.
And lines tend to get crossed when you live with your parents while raising your child. So you're not able to be like pick and choose what you want to do, really, because you're living with them.
Because like parents always say, you're under my roof, my rules. Yeah. So at the end of the day, like, you can say whatever you want. This is my kid, but you're staying at her place. So it's hard to be like, I'm not going to do this. I am going to do this with my child. I mean, you got to have your own place.
Like, it's a nice thought.
But at the same time, let me have my kid back? No.
You're weird. Why are you saying your kid? This is your grandchild.
Talking about come to mama.
You're weird. Why?
And we don't get along. That's the other thing. Because, some people come to mama. No, I mean, don't even say that.
Yeah, it's just weird.
I was trying to, like, make it make sense. Don't even say that somebody else's kid come to mama. You're not their mom. Yeah. So don't say you're their mom. But Yeah, that's crazy. And then she got upset that the husband was on the side of
the wife. Which, good, because obviously that's what he needs to be doing. But you don't want your husband and his wife to be on the same side. Like, you want them to be opposed to each other?
Yeah, because she wants that baby. She wants the baby for herself. Ugh. It's real weird. One, don't live with your parents and have a kid in their house.
And think that you can actually
raise them how you want.
Yeah.
That's going to be weird already. And then but there just seems to be something underlying. Like, this whole, she wore white to my wedding. You know better than that. Yeah.
That's like one of the biggest rules at weddings. Don't wear white because it's not your day. Don't do it.
Yeah. Unless you have it all white. Unless you say the dress code is white and black. Or all white. It's an all white wedding.
No one else should be wearing white. You shouldn't even think to touch white.
Don't wear white.
If it's not your wedding.
If the colors are pastel, don't wear white.
Okay.
Next. It's your turn.
Okay. So, clearly, on the last one, she's not in the wrong.
She's not in the wrong. She's definitely not in the wrong. The mom is tripping. The grandma / mom of the husband is tripping. Like, if I say, give me my kid back, give me my kid back. It doesn't matter if they're smiling, laughing, crying, yelling, screaming. If I say, give me my kid back, give me my kid back. Yeah. Simple as that. So, don't let her see your kid. You're not in the wrong.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. Oh, there's an edit though.
Okay.
It says, for those saying I'm using her for free, I'm not. I pay rent to her as well as money for food. I also do the house cleaning and cooking and anything else she needs help with, so I'm not using her for free.
Good.
Also, I do not hate her. I never said I did, just being made to feel like I'm a crap mom because I'm dressing him in trash clothes that are not up to her standard, etc. I adore this woman. It's just since I've had my son, she's turned against me. That's
she was
sad.
against you at that wedding. Yeah, that's the real tea.
She's been against you since you took her son from her.
Ooh.
And that's always the weirdest thing. Like, why do you want your son up under you? Deal with your husband. She's married. The grandma's married. It'd be another thing if, like, the grandkid is all she has. The grandma is married. The grandma's married. Why are you still worried about your son? She's upset that she took her son. So now they had another kid that's like, oh, okay, well, I can just latch onto the kid. No, you can't. I don't like that. I'd have a problem with it, but no, she's not the problem. Your turn.
Nice. Okay, so just to give y'all some heads up. So when we do these stories, we usually pick them because we think that we can find some way to kind of relate, because we always think that being able to find yourself in a story makes for a good story, and it just makes for you to be able to see both sides better and, like, be able to play devil's advocate either way it goes. Anyway, so for this one, it says, am I the problem for telling my daughter she has to accept my marriage? And so, what?
Go ahead.
So, I, 42 female, am getting married this year. I've known my fiance for 3 years, and he proposed to me this New Year's Eve. I have a 14-year-old daughter, a 12-year-old son, and he has a 13-year-old daughter. So already, I can see the kids are the same age, so either that could go really good or really bad. Because usually it's like either y'all get along super great, it's just a real easy mesh, or it's like y'all are arch nemesis and y'all are like oil and water. Y'all just can't be together. So, our kids have known each other since the beginning of our relationship, but my daughter just can't stand his daughter. On the other hand, my son likes him and has never had any issues with his daughter. I can't understand the reason, but everything his daughter does is criticized by my daughter. I've talked to my daughter about it, and all she can say is that the other girl is annoying, childish, and she has even called her names. I really can't grasp the problem. I find my future stepdaughter sweet and bright. I've never had any issues with her. My daughter also doesn't like my fiance. She says I could find a much better man. I've talked to my daughter, and she simply says she thinks he's dumb and arrogant.
Oh, wow.
After my fiance...
That's fighting words.
Yeah, that is fighting words. After my fiance proposed and I accepted, I told my kids my daughter didn't like it. I expected this reaction. When she met my fiance, she was extremely rude, and I reacted and sent her to her room, where I told her to stay quiet and that her opinion doesn't matter to me. I'm getting married, and she has to accept it, just like she has to accept sharing a room with her new sister. She had a crying fit and hasn't spoken to me for days. I told my sister and my mother, and they said I'm wrong. I can't see how I'm wrong. I'm an adult, a mother, and I decide whom I marry, not a teenager who knows nothing about life. So we're going to break this down just a little bit because there's so much going on here.
Yeah, so
you have to touch on every single part of it.
So the person writing this
is the mother who's getting married, who has the 2 kids.
Okay. And she's not accepting of her dad's marriage?
No. This is the mother who's writing this in.
Oh.
Her daughter isn't accepting
of her marriage. So she's saying is she the problem for what?
Is she the problem for telling her daughter that she has to accept her marriage?
Yes.
So we're about to break it down, though, because it's a lot. So first of all, she says that her daughter has a problem with the husband or fiance, but also has a problem with the other little girl.
Yeah.
And her son doesn't have a problem at all with anybody.
Yeah. And what's the ages?
The daughter is 14, the son is 12, and the stepdaughter is 13.
Okay.
So stair steps.
It's 12, 13, 14.
So I personally experienced this with my brother when my stepmother came into the picture when I was in like 5th grade or whatever. And he never had a problem with her. He was always the one that was like cool with her, basically.
Yeah.
But me and my sister were both like, no. And I think that it must be something with just like being a boy and just like.
I think boys are. I think for boys, if you don't do anything wrong to me, for the most part, it's like.
Yeah.
But for girls,
it's like I feel your spirit, and your spirit is saying.
And that's y'all's dad.
Yeah.
And girls can get real, protective
over
their dads. So, but yeah, that continue with.
Yeah. So for one, her basing it off of her son isn't doing much, because if the guy didn't do anything specifically to her son, for the most part, they're not going to have a problem with that.
Yeah.
So that's where she kind of...
I don't remember, was there any reasons why she said she didn't like him? Or was it just like she wasn't feeling him?
She said she thinks he's dumb and arrogant. But to me...
She just doesn't know him.
They've known each other for 3 years. They've known him for 3 years.
Yeah.
But there are sides, I'm going to say it right now, there are sides to people where they will not show you, but they will show your kids in a different way. And so you may not have seen the side of him that was arrogant and dumb, but she might have seen a side of him because he thinks, he can tell her what to do or something.
Or just the way he carries himself.
Yeah, the way he carries himself towards younger people.
Yeah.
You're able to tell a lot by people the way they treat kids. Because if you treat kids like they're nothing, they're below you, that's a problem. And kids clearly see that problem too. And they pick up on it.
Yeah. Because at first I was trying to see, like, did she have a specific reason? Because I know for me personally, I never had a step parent that I just like didn't like or anything. Mm-hmm. But
I did.
But I had to grow into my step parent. Like, okay, my mom's, I guess it's kind of hard to describe. So my mom's first husband after my dad, he was my stepdad since I was like 3 years old or something like that. So I didn't have anything against him, obviously, because he was around my whole life. But my mom's husband after my stepdad, which just happened about 4 years ago. That one I was just like feeling a little iffy about, just because it was just like, I'm older, why type of thing. I just didn't really understand. And not that I didn't like him, I had nothing against him, but it was just like, what do I need to like you for? Like, I don't have any reason to pursue you type of thing. And so I was thinking like, maybe it was just the mom is trying to rush it and get her the mom is trying to rush it and get her daughter to be so accepting of her fiance or her about to be husband. But it's like, just give her time, probably. Mm-hmm. Like, if you just give kids time to warm up to them, let them come to them in their own time, let them bring up topics that the step parent can feed into. Because the same way with your current
that's what I was gonna say.
Okay,
yeah. So I personally felt like when I met my stepmother now, I personally, honestly and truthfully, felt like there was no need for me to have a relationship with her to where she needs to know me or things like that. Just because it's like, kids go through the divorce just like you go through the divorce, but even worse, because there are sides to the divorce that the kid doesn't see. And so there's questions or things you're wondering about, like, how did we even get here?
Yeah.
Because you're not in the marriage, like, you're not the two that said I do.
Yeah. And even if you're not able to fully, even if you couldn't even comprehend the actual issues of why the parents broke up, I feel like it's still important to give some type of explanation to the kids, because you do grow to, love that person for what, like, I don't know how you felt about that one that you had, but like for my stepdad, of course I loved him just like he was my dad. And so it was just like, for him to be gone, and then now this other guy's coming in, I was like, and I'm a very, very loyal person to my family and to my friends and stuff like that. So I was just like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that big of a problem to where they needed to not be together. I was like 18 or something like that. So it wasn't my place to really know, but it was just like,
that's things that
we go through the kids and stuff go through the divorce with the parents, even though the parents are the ones that's like in it literally.
Yeah,
there's still a world around them, and you're not realizing, like, the side characters of that problem. But it's just like the kids feel it for sure. And then with us being the oldest, you're the oldest sibling, I'm the oldest sibling, or the oldest child, or whatever. It's on both of our parents' sides, we're the oldest, and we have like half siblings and stuff like that. But it's like, for us, we'll take it on for ourselves, but also we kind of carry the weight of it for our siblings too, because it feels like it's kind of our responsibility to protect them from being hurt like maybe we felt hurt.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I was saying. I kind of felt bad. Now, looking back, I felt bad about how I treated my stepmother in the beginning, because initially we were all going to meet her for the first time. I thought that my siblings were going to be there, but it turns out that they were out of town. And so it was just me, my dad, and her. And I kind of told my dad, like, I didn't really come here to meet her so she could get to know me. I was more here to
hang out with
support my brother and sister, because I thought my brother and sister were going to be there. And so I knew this would be one of the first times where they're meeting her too. And so I didn't want them to be alone and like feel some type of way, not be able to say anything to anybody just because it's just them. And so I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and go just because I want to support them. And so when I got there and they weren't there, it was just kind of like, I don't really feel like I want to talk to her that much.
Oh, you went?
Yeah, I went. And then I was like, oh, I thought they were going to be here. So
did your dad say that that they were supposed to be there?
I don't know. I felt like he did. Maybe he didn't.
Or maybe
but I just assumed. I think I just assumed, like, yeah, they're going to be there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, it was just like, I did treat her a little bit wrong in the beginning, but it was
so you're the problem.
In that case, I was the problem.
Yeah.
But I mean, I needed time for myself too. That's something that was new. I was in college.
Yeah.
It was just
we were just
a
older,
lot going on.
And it's like, we've had
the step parents.
We've had our share of step parents. We've had we have our actual parents. Then we had our actual lives were like starting to amp up a little bit more with us going to college and stuff. So it was like, we don't hate these new people, because her dad and my mom both got into like these new relationships
kind of around the
same time. So it was, both of us were kind of just like, I mean, I'm great that our parents are happy, but it's like, I don't need to know them like that. So that's how we were in the beginning. But I would say that both of us now are a lot closer and feel better about our new step parents. But yeah, it's just, I don't even remember the story anymore. Like,
well, we were talking about the part that, like, just because her son likes him doesn't mean that what her daughter is seeing isn't valid. That she sees isn't valid.
And you can't rush. I think that's what I was saying. You cannot rush. You can't rush it. You cannot rush that.
And 3 years is
you can't rush
amount of time, but you still can't just like,
because how many times have you maybe introduced your parent to a friend, and I'm not saying they're wrong, because a lot of times they're right about those friends. Yeah. But how many times have you introduced a parent to a friend, and the parent is like, they're not your vibe.
And then sometimes there's been plenty of times my mom has been right about friends that she's like, no, I knew it from the jump. I was just making sure you stay safe, but I knew it from the jump.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like you just don't. You might give off an impression in the beginning, but it just takes time. And also, like, that first initial, because you did meet her that time, but the first initial meeting, that person is also nervous. So that person could also be a little weird, standoffish. Like, I can understand that. So it's like, over time, you'll get to see their character. Now, if every single time we're meeting, it's weird, the vibe is off, I'm not feeling you, it doesn't seem like you're feeling me, all you care about is to be with my mom, that'd be a problem. That's really weird. Like, why do you not care about me? Why do you not care about my siblings? Because we all come as a package, basically. So that would be weird. But in this case, she's saying the daughter is just like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the other problem is, why are you discrediting how your daughter's feeling? Oh, your opinion doesn't matter. Go to your room.
That's crazy.
I'm the mom. Like, that's not going to make for a healthy relationship. And then that leads into other situations to where she's like, oh, well, my opinion doesn't matter. And so now she's either staying silent, or she's just on this horrible roller coaster of emotions and can't even say anything because she thinks it doesn't matter anyway. And she's like feeling like she's alone or something.
Yeah. It's just not.
She's in the wrong.
Yeah, you can't rush.
Oh, and then she did an edit.
But wait. Before you say the edit, she also said in the ending, she said
she has to share a room with her.
Yeah.
The sister. Get a new house. Get a new house.
You have to share a room. So, you know this wedding I'm about to have. I'm about to have this wedding. You don't really like him, but
I don't really care.
But your brother does. So, I mean, I don't really care. Your brother likes him. Go to your room. I don't want to hear that. But whenever you go to your room, don't be surprised if somebody else is in there with you.
You know that girl who you said you don't like?
Because she also doesn't like the...
No.
That's very messed up.
Yeah.
That part, like,
you have to, like, respect her boundaries in some way. Kids still have boundaries.
But parents do not see that. And I'm not even gonna say parents. Just older people don't see younger people having boundaries, having their own rights. They think, I'm the adult, so I'm going to tell you what you need to do, and that's what you say. Yes. That's what you need to do, and you need to be okay with it. Mm-hmm. And that's not okay. Like, they're going to force her to be in a room with somebody that she's not comfortable with, in a household that she's no longer comfortable with.
And girls are catty. Who knows what happened between them to where it's like she did something to her or said something crazy. So
yeah, it just doesn't seem like that's going to work out. But what's the edit?
So the edit says, I told her she had to accept it. And her opinion didn't matter because for the past 3 years, I've been trying to understand her reasons for being against my relationship. And she has never stated those reasons. So now I'm getting married. And for those who said I didn't make an effort to build a relationship between my stepdaughter and my daughter, my son travels alone many weekends with my fiance, while my stepdaughter comes to stay with us at home. Even so, my daughter barely interacts and says it's disgusting for the two of them to travel together for hunting.
I just wonder what it is. Like, why does she feel that uncomfortable about him?
And to me, the whole splitting up by gender thing, that's fine sometimes, but it also needs to be to where he's hanging out with both of the girls too and getting to know them and doing something that they like to do, because...
You're saying with the mom, though, right?
With the mom, yeah.
Like, not by themselves.
Not by themselves, with the mom. Maybe the son is at grandma's or something, but there needs to be a situation to where it's like he's leading the activity.
But it's an activity made for them.
Yeah, that they like to do.
Right.
So that way they can see him in their element and he can see them in their element.
And you can see what's going on. Because if her daughter's starting the day off completely fine and they're going out, and then throughout the day it seems like it just progressively gets worse and worse, what's happening? Like, she needs to be a fly on the wall in this situation. Yeah. Even if they're going to act like she's not going to go with them. And she's just gonna, because, I mean, I'll be real. Whenever I went to go visit my mom, she moved to Atlanta. Whenever I went to go visit her, I don't know if it was the first time, right? I think whenever I went to go visit them for the first time, I went out with her new husband, and I think we went to go, like, get his ears pierced or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
what's happening?
Why am I going? Why am I going with him to do this? But I'm not like I'm not a rude person. So I wasn't going to be like, no, I don't want to go with you. But of course I was just like, why am I doing this? But I knew that I think that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to, let's go do something. I'm into like fashion and all that stuff. Yeah. So I'm sure he was like, oh, this would be a cool thing for me and him to go and do together. And it will show like, I'm cool. I got my ears pierced. Yeah. So I respected him for that. And a lot of the things that he did before that, after that, were like, he was showing like interest and showing that he's trying, and I'm not going to just be a cold-hearted person and not accept somebody trying. But yeah, like they need to go out on dates where the new husband is with the daughters doing stuff that they want to do and figuring that out, or let's all sit down and have a talk about it, because nobody ever wants to talk about stuff, and parents always just want to send kids to their rooms apparently. Yeah. But it's like, let's talk about it with him there. But she said after 3 years, she never said what real reasons.
But I feel like the reason of dumb and arrogant.
That's the reason.
That's a good enough reason. I'm not marrying somebody dumb.
That's the reason. And there probably has been plenty of reasons, but the reasons aren't good enough to the mom. So they don't count as reasons.
Which happens with parents and older people in general too.
Plenty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you can rush somebody into your relationship. They don't love that person. They got drug in because you're their mom. Yeah. I don't think that.
I do want to say too, though, that I'm just like rereading it, and she said when she met my fiance, she was extremely rude. And so even in that instance, she reacted and sent her to her room where she told her to stay quiet and that her opinion doesn't matter to me. So from the beginning, she's already...
That your opinion doesn't matter?
From the beginning, she's messing up their relationship.
Yeah.
If my opinion doesn't matter to me, then I can be a butthole to him if I want to.
Yeah, who cares?
If my opinion
Your opinion doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter, so why does... I can do whatever I want to do.
Around them?
So now she's basically about to ruin her relationship with her daughter for her husband, which, if that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. But that whole, your opinion doesn't matter because this is my relationship.
Then why do you want my
approval?
Yeah.
I'm about to be living with, now in that situation, I'm about to be living with this person. It should matter. You're my mom. My opinion should matter.
Yeah, especially as a young girl.
Yeah, young girl, 14.
If you're saying somebody's weird.
You're teaching your 14-year-old daughter to be quiet. That's crazy.
That's the perfect time.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Your opinion doesn't matter. All right, let's see how that plays out. That's crazy.
Yeah. So
I've been told that before, though. I'm not gonna say who, but I had a family member get married, and I wasn't completely along with it, and I was told, your opinion doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm gonna do it anyway.
Well, then don't tell me about it.
Okay. It's like, I don't know what am I supposed to say? Okay. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
I've been working on it, though. I'm gonna say that every podcast.
I've been
working on it. Yeah, that's crazy. That would
real crazy.
It's just they're gonna be in the same house.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here saying, "Be quiet."
So yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from both of these is listen to each other in general, because you need to be listening to things that your mother-in-law says before you have kids, because then you'll know if she is going to be all, this is my baby, or possessive of it. If she's possessive of her son in an unhealthy way, more than likely she's going to be possessive of her grandchild in the exact same way, because it's her son's kid. If the baby looks exactly like her son did when she had him, there are so many things that can come back up to where it's just like, oh yeah, this is my baby. Insane.
So this next one is, am I the problem for not giving my mom's husband a role in my wedding? So my mom married her husband when I, 28 female, was 16. That's a minute. I met him that same year and only lived in the same house as him for a little over a year. Before I moved out to go to college, I never saw him as a father figure, never saw him as a stepdad, meaning not a parent. I get along with him fine, and he's a nice guy, but that's about it. My brother, 30 male, never lived with him. My brother got married in 2019, and my mom walked him down the aisle opposite his wife and her parents. Mom's husband was waiting for mom in the seats. He did not include her husband in the wedding as a parent because he wasn't one to my brother. This is something that upset my mom's husband, and I only learned this a few months ago when I got engaged. How I learned this is my mom and her husband mentioned that he was hoping I would ask him or both of them to walk me down the aisle. I chose to ask my paternal granny. I chose not to ask my mom because she and I had a less close relationship than she and my brother did growing up. My granny is the person who gave me the support I needed. My mom's husband told me it really hurt to be publicly declared not a parent or a parent figure when he was always thought of as his kids. When he has always thought of us as his kids in some way. I asked him if a special dance with mom or walking down the aisle with mom would make him feel better, and he said no. He said he didn't want to be just something to mom, but to be publicly acknowledged as a father figure. I told him he's not a father figure to me, and I'm sorry that he wants to be, but it's not how I see him. I asked him if there was something else he would like to do, and he'd like to do, and he said he wanted to walk down the aisle or perform a father-daughter dance. I told him neither of those were an option, but if he wanted to do something else, we could discuss it. He and mom both mentioned it over the last few months, and now my wedding is closing in on us, and my mom told me I should have given him an actual role as a parent of the bride. She said it's breaking his heart to know he only gets to be her husband and not a fatherly figure. She asked me if they paid for the wedding, if I would change my mind, and I said no. She asked how they would have to contribute to the wedding for him to get the role as the father of the bride, and I told her no amount. He then asked me why I didn't want him to fill the role when he's the only father figure I ever knew. My dad died when I was 2. When I spoke to him, he told me I was just... When I spoke to him, he told me I was just being cruel, and to have both of us reject him as a father figure stung. Am I the problem?
First of all, to be any part of someone's wedding is an honor. It is not a given. It is not a given that you are going to be the officiant. It is not a given that you will be a groomsman. It is not a given you'll be a bridesmaid. That person makes that decision based on the fact that they feel like in this time of their life, this is the person who they think they want to be in this role.
Yeah. Point blank, period.
If I don't want to have a mother of the bride dance,
I don't have to.
Anything that you're a part of in someone else's wedding is them being nice. It is not them being like, oh yeah, this is what's supposed to happen.
Yeah. And I mean, again, like just trying to play devil's advocate, I wonder if it's just like she's really trying to show that this isn't my dad. And so he might be feeling some type of way because he's like, well, I kind of was playing that role when your dad was gone. So it's like, I mean...
To me, her saying that would be, you can't come to my wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, because there would be no reason for her to not let him come if he hasn't done anything literally wrong to her. But, I mean, it says... And they got married when I was 16.
But she's saying she only lived with him for a year.
Yeah.
A lot happens when you live with people and like you get to bond with them, but that type of fatherly bonding where you're like really...
You don't get that just because you married my mom.
Yeah, that's not...
You're not my father because you married my mom.
No.
You're my mom's husband.
You may be a good person, but you're not my father.
And she said we can do some other stuff. Yeah. She's offered some other things that we can do, or we can discuss some other things. And he was like, no, I want to be known as a fatherly figure.
Oh, you're bad.
And I want to be publicly recognized.
Oh, that's the first problem.
You're worried about what
all these other people think.
It's me walking down the aisle with, if I'm her, it's me walking down the aisle with my husband. We are the two most important people here. Are you here for us, or are you here for all these other people? Because I could decide to embarrass you in front of all these other people. But no, I'm just going to say, can you please just... And she didn't even have her mom. No. She didn't have her own mom do it.
And the other thing is, it's not like her dad is some deadbeat and...
Her dad passed.
Her dad passed away, so it's cute that she said, okay, my dad's mom will be the one walking me down the aisle because that's someone who's literally linked to him as a part of him.
Yeah. Not just this
Where's
random
the
man.
problem?
Not random man, but yeah.
Some random person, yeah. Where's the problem?
You should not come to me saying I need to be this in your wedding.
Because if I didn't think about it, it's not genuine.
It's not genuine. I wouldn't even want to be. If I had to call my homeboy, if my homeboy about to get married and I'm like, oh, what's up? Like, what's up with the bachelor party?
I thought I was a groomsman.
I know I'm about to be one. Your what's it called?
Best man.
I know I'm about to be your best man. We gonna turn up. Da da da. No.
Actually, you're not even invited.
No, you need. The groom should be sending out the messages to whoever it is.
And if you don't get a message, you don't get a message.
You don't get a message, and you need to reevaluate how good of a friend have you been.
If you don't get a message, you don't get a message.
and
hello.
And it's just crazy to me how, because I mean, we just went through this with the whole wedding thing. People swear that they should just be.
I should be a part of it.
I should be a part of it. I should be walking down the aisle. I'm the ... So I should do this. The main event. Where's our special part at? What are you talking about? What special part? Where have you been?
You're lucky to be invited.
Where have you been? I was. I'm not even gonna go into that though.
Yeah, it's just
that's a whole other thing. But yeah, it's
so many things happen with weddings, and it's like the main thing is people don't understand. This is my day. I choose who's here and who's not here. If you don't get an invite, if you don't get a part, that's because I didn't think you should get an invite or you should get a part.
Yeah.
So why are you trying to force me to give you this part or give you this invite when I don't want to? Now you're somewhere where you weren't even wanted in the first place. And you wonder why it's feeling weird.
That's weird. Like you're gonna force me to agree. What can we pay for it to where he can walk down the aisle with you?
Nothing.
What are you talking about? Because I'm sure if
you about to have to pay for this invite.
If y'all were doing the things y'all were supposed to be doing in the first place and offering to pay for all that stuff in the first place, maybe she would have felt inclined to. Maybe she wouldn't have wanted to. But because he's doing so much, he's always been offered. Since I said I was getting married, he's been my right hand. He's bought me a wedding book. He's called me every day, asked about my anxieties. He's hung out with my new fiance to show that he's welcomed in the family and he has a partner. then maybe I'd feel like, yeah, you can walk me down the aisle. That's a big job, though. We had a little bit of a discrepancy with that, though, remember? At first, I was like, I want you to walk down by yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, no, my dad needs to do it.
Yeah. But I felt like that was just something that I always wanted. And when I envisioned myself walking down the aisle, I always felt my dad would be there. Yeah. And we even did something completely different to where we had our parents stand up there with us, which is, it just shows how, like, progressive, is that what the word is? Progressive we are?
I think so. Like, we did our own thing.
Yeah, we did our own thing. We're firm believers in we don't have to do it the way that we see it done, because there's plenty of times we see it done the correct way and the marriage is over in 3 years. So
and we already, because at first I think we did build it. Initially we were doing like the regular, what, not regular, but like we were gonna do the typical traditional wedding where you have the regular stuff, like this person walks with this person, you have this group of people, you have it at this big place, and all of that. But as the process went on, and we had these big main characters in these spots, we thought were main characters in these spots, and then as we go along with the whole wedding planning and stuff, they're not supporting us, or they're seeming to be MIA,
or it's just we're having to like
beg and plea for them to come to these different events and stuff. So it was like, okay, well, we'll just get married in Mexico. If you want to come, then you come. So we got married in Mexico, and it was a lot smaller.
But it felt more meaningful because each person, instead of like having the pairs go down the aisle, we gave a spotlight to each person that actually showed up. They came. They've been supportive of us the entire time. They're big spotlights in our lives and stuff. In general. So each person came down individually, which we felt like was cool because they get to have their own moment as like, we love you, we care about you, thank you for supporting us.
Yeah. So our moms went in by themselves, and then we each had one, I guess, wedding party.
Or one typical wedding party.
Yeah. So like you had a person walk down that was a friend. I had a person walk down that was a friend. My dad walked down. I walked down. Then you came with your dad.
And then it was my bridesmaid or maid of honor, my mother, and then my father. And then for you, it was your best man, your mom, and then your dad. So it was kind of like, it was cute. I really did like how it ended up turning out.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just people swear in weddings that they should get this and should get that. But it's like, you're talking about me giving you what you want for your wedding.
For my wedding.
I mean, yeah. You're talking about what I need to give you for my wedding. Let's just think about that. Like,
for 2 seconds, let's just think.
And you're that hurt that you didn't get to walk down the aisle with her brother. It's 5 seconds. You're walking down the aisle. Wedding. You're at the wedding.
You got an invite.
I don't understand. Like, you're not there to be the center of attention. You're there to support me. That's the time, birthdays and weddings, that's the time where honestly, I don't care. I don't care what you have, what you want, what you have going on. This is for us. I'm not supposed to be, and that's what stopped our decision in the beginning too, was we were spending all this money for other people. Like, let's make sure they all have the best foods. Let's make sure they have the best seats. Let's make sure they have the best view. We're going to go sit here and burn up in the sun while they're all in the air-conditioned, nice seats. Yeah. We were burning up in the sun because we were in Mexico in July. But everybody was burning up. Yeah. We all were burning up.
To an extent.
But it's just, but it's just like, I just don't like that thought that, like, I need this because of... Yeah. And it's crazy how people... And the amount of complaints you get during your wedding. Yeah. And it's like, this is my wedding. You're complaining to me about my wedding. Like, I made this plan out, and you're making it more difficult. Yeah. You're uninvited.
Go to somebody else.
You're uninvited. Nah, I'm just kidding. We definitely weren't, like, that cutthroat with people. But
if we would have done it the way where we were about to spend a lot more money than we did, we definitely would have been. But because it was just, like, chill vibes, we just kept the chill vibes all throughout, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah. So, yeah, those are some deep stories.
Yeah.
Moral of the story is give people time to warm up to one another, have good conversations. Do not try to silence somebody in your family because you think you have the upper hand because you have all their life. I'll be respectful, but the second I'm grown, I'm gonna be so excited to be grown because I don't have to listen to you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I feel like parents are forcing their kids to be so excited to be adults, and I say this all the time. Like, I can't wait to live my life. Da da da. Whenever I say parents, I'm meaning like parents, grandparents, uncles. Like, yeah, your close family. That's what I mean when I say parents. My family and your family too. We all are a very close knit family. So, not just your parents. You have more than one person that kind of can give input on things. Yeah. And I think my family maybe a little bit more than yours in terms of who had say in things. But, like your parents do so much to where it's like you're so excited to grow up because you don't have to put up with that type of stuff. Yeah. I've felt like silenced. I felt like I can't have an opinion. I felt like I can't speak out. I can't speak up about the things that I like to do per se because you don't like it. I can't watch the music videos that I like to watch because you don't like it. And you're criticizing me and this and that because of something I listen to, but you didn't even listen to it. Yeah. You know the genre of the music, so you're automatically hating on it instead of listening to it and trying to figure out why it is that I connect. So I just feel like parents need to just chill out, listen to their kids, actually get real reasoning, and don't be with a person that's not wanting you to listen to your kid. Because if we were to have a kid, or if I was to have another kid and you were trying to tell me, oh, they'll grow into, don't worry about them. I'd be like, no, that's weird. You should be worried about them. Yeah. I'd want you to be another set of eyes and ears and another mind whenever I'm blind, because obviously the person was blinded by love and trying to make these decisions and forgetting about their daughter. So that other person needs to be like, no, let's try to help them out too. Yeah. So yeah, these are some good stories. And yeah, let us know if we should do some more Reddit stories, with some topics we should try to find on Reddit, or we can just hit on ourselves. Yeah. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I liked it. These stories were interesting. When we were trying to pick them out, I was like, wow, there's some crazy stuff going on.
Anyway, I'm Jaelyn Gray.
And I'm Devon Gray.
And this was the
Greycious Podcast. And we will see you guys